Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm doing a review on the Triumph United Death Adder 2.0 boxing gloves. So stay tuned. Hey guys, Carlo here. Today I'm doing a review on a boxing glove classic, the Triumph United Death Adder 2.0 boxing gloves. These are the successor to the original Death Adders, which were released about 10 years ago. I got mine in the black and white colorway, 16 ounces in lace up. These are also available in Velcro in 12 ounces as well, and 3 total colorways, including this colorway. You can get this in all brown as well as all black with neon green. The glove is made of full genuine cowhide leather throughout the entire glove, and medium density layered foam padding over the knuckle area, and the gloves are manufactured in India. Now, from a design standpoint, these pretty much stay true to the original look and design of the original Death Adders. There's a couple small things that are different, but for the most part, they stuck to the original formula, which is what made the originals really successful. In fact, when I think about the original Death Adders, I think at the time when they were first released, they kind of reminded me of Grant boxing gloves. And during that period in the early 2010s, if you want to call it, when it came to gloves like Grant, you used to be able to buy Grants through Ringside back in those days, and they stopped selling through Ringside. But a lot of people kind of came out with their own version of a Grant-like or a Grant-inspired glove. More particularly with the actual aesthetics of the glove, not so much with the structure and the actual feel of the glove, but a lot of people were going with that kind of like that black and white with the split thumb look and trying to kind of replicate that Mexican Grant style look. And I feel like the original Death Adders were one of the very first gloves to kind of try to replicate at least that look and the aesthetic style of Grant gloves. So you can see it carries over a lot of what the original looked like. You do have the black leather on here that does have a kind of a semi-smooth texture to it. I'd say that it has a satin finish. You also have the Triumph United logo, circle logo on the back. This does have a triple cuff on the back. I guess you can call it a quadruple cuff because they added this extra fourth section right here at the very bottom of the wrist support that actually has a rounded look to it, which is very unique, and it gives you a little bit more length and extension on the actual wrist support down here. You'll also notice that the wrist support padding isn't particularly rounded. It has a little bit more of a flattened look to it, which is different than the originals when it comes to the wrist support. So you do have that quadruple cuff that is different from the original Death Adders, as well as the padding on the back of the wrist support being a little bit more on the flat side. Rotating to the palm side, you'll notice that it does have a smooth tricot inner liner, and you can see that is very nice and smooth, comfortable on the inside. Palm facing, you also have the Triumph United logo on the thumb side of the inside wrist padding. You also have the 16-ounce weight tag right here that's attached. Long white flat laces with plastic tips at the end, long enough to get a couple of revolutions around to really lock in your wrist across right there. Another thing with this glove is padding on the wrist support is a big emphasis. I feel compared to the originals as well. I feel like the padding on here is definitely more supportive. On the back of the wrist, you're looking about maybe an inch of medium density foam padding with a softer padding lined up against your hand. And then on the inside, you're looking at about, I say, an inch as well of medium density foam padding on both sides. So you can see the foam padding extends all the way up here as well as on this side and kind of tapers down. Double stitching throughout. You have the black piping around the thumb. Split thumb with the white and the black on the thumb. A leather attached thumb that's nice and thick and oversized, so you do have that, which is leather. And you also have a really nice firm large grip bar on the inside. So it's basically like I felt like they took the original and all the areas that were, I guess you can consider opportunities or weaknesses with the original gloves, they basically reinforced that with this one. You also have the ventilated holes above and below the grip bar. What's kind of unique is the holes, there's 4 of them on top and the bottom. They're not really spread out. They're kind of central to the inside right here on the middle where the split between the colors are. And you also have a couple holes right here on the inner thumb, nothing too crazy there. So overall, a really clean looking glove, Triumph United written vertically on the other side of the wrist support, but very similar to the original. The other thing is the shape of the glove is refined a little bit in my opinion. I feel like it's a little bit more slimmer than the original. I feel like the original had a little bit more of a wider feel, a wider pocket. I feel like they streamlined this version and kind of pulled the thumb in a little bit more compared to the original. So if you were to put these against the originals, you'll probably notice that just the overall profile of this glove is a little bit more of a slimmer conical shape compared to the original Death Adders. For a 16-ounce glove as well, I'd say that they're here on the slimmer side. If you're used to medium to larger size 16-ounce gloves, I'd say that these are a little bit more on the slimmer profile when it comes to that, which I'm a personal fan of. I like slimmer fitting gloves. I don't like gloves that are too bulky. Quality-wise, these gloves are really good. The leather on here is consistent throughout. The stitching is pretty good overall. I'd say that the stitching is nice and tight. I'd say certain areas, like right here on this palm, could have been done a little bit cleaner, but areas where you start to see a lot of stress on the outside edges are done really nicely with this glove. And you can see here the stitching on the outside edge, in between the wrist support on the back, right here at the hinge point, looks really good. Right around the piping at the bottom is stitched in nicely. On the thumb side, you can see it's done very well. Where the index finger meets the thumb, the stitching is done really clean. Inside where the palm is, everything is done really nicely. And you can see it's a very short stitch pattern, unlike Winnings, where Winning uses a really wide stitch pattern. This one's definitely a lot closer. And you can see the laces are clean. Inside the liner, no rips or tears, no exposed foam. And overall, I think the stitching looks really good. I mean, right here you can see it kind of gets a little tapered off track, but nothing too crazy. Weight-wise, when I put these gloves on the scale, they both came in at, I believe, 15.6 ounces or 15.8, but they're exactly on point with each other. So both gloves weighed the same as each other, and they're almost at 16 ounces. So that's great to see, especially for a training glove at 16 ounces that you can use for sparring and relatively everything in the gym to train with. So definitely like the fact that you're on point with weight. Weight distribution is good as well. You can see that there's no sagging if I grab the back, or should I say the lower cuff of the glove, nor is there sagging on the back side if I were to grab the front of the glove. So distribution of weight is definitely there. Comfort wise, sliding my hand into glove, it is very comfortable. One of my big pet peeves, if you guys haven't noticed already from other videos, is going to be thumb positioning and hand ergonomics, and I think they do a really good job with this glove. You can see that a great amount of wrist support, so I feel like my wrist and the lower portion of my forearm, as well as where it comes to my wrist and the lower portion of my palm on my hand, feels nice and secure. I don't feel like this piping is too tight, so they did a good job of kind of letting that piping being a little bit more open so that my thumb can fully extend into the pocket right here. And the position of the thumb is good as well. I don't feel like the thumb is too shallow, so even when I make a fist, you can see the attached thumb does pull down just a little bit, but not enough to where my thumb is jamming. And you have about an inch of foam on the back of your thumb to give it some support and cushioning on the back of the thumb. The finger compartment, again, is good, nice and deep. And I'd say that it's semi-broken in. It's gonna take a little bit of time to break these gloves in. They're not ultra stiff, but they're not super soft either, where you can just open and close your hand with ease. It's gonna take a little bit of time to break these gloves in, but once you do, you'll be able to get that full flexibility. One thing I feel like this glove does great with, compared to some of the other gloves in its class, is the grip bar. You can really feel that grip bar when you grab down onto it. There was another brand I did a couple of months ago, the Reap of Faith gloves. I believe those were the samurai gloves, and that had one of the best grip bars. And I'd say that this grip bar is pretty close to that in terms of just feel, being able to close your hand and feeling like you have like a roll of pennies in your hand, and you kind of get that sensation with this grip bar as well. So I definitely applaud Triumph for doing that with that grip bar. Finger compartment is good. I'd say that it's perfect size for me in terms of width. If you do have bigger hands, I could foresee this finger compartment maybe being a little bit too snug. So it would have been nicer if they had it a little bit wider, or maybe come up with like an 18-ounce version that's slightly larger to give the finger pocket a little bit more of a wider feel. But overall, it feels really good. There's a little piece, I guess you could say, like a little piece of neoprene right here to cover the stitching. But overall, a very comfortable glove. Protection and performance-wise, to me, this is a very balanced glove. You have the choice between 16s, like I have here, as well as 12-ounce gloves. To me, the 12s are going to be gloves that you strictly for bag work, hitting the mitts, bag work, double end bag, or double end bag, cobra bag. You know, I would not use the 12s for sparring. And the 16s to me are going to be the variant that you can use for everything, for sparring, hitting the bags, and just like everything you can do with the 12-ounce glove, you could do with the 16s. Only difference is going to be sparring. So that's really up to you. Everyone's a little bit different. If you plan on sparring, whether it's, you know, 1 day a week or more often than that, then I'd definitely go with the 16s. That way it's a little bit more versatile and you can use the gloves for more things. If you're just somebody that's just going to use this purely for hitting the bag, then 12s would be good too, because it's a little bit more compact feeling, and you get, to me, when it comes to smaller gloves, you just get a little bit more of a connected feeling when you're landing your punches, because it's a more compact glove typically. So completely up to you, but I'd say that the padding on here, because it's medium density, is really good for everything. For sparring, hitting the bag, it does a good job of absorbing shock, but also giving you the feedback that you're looking for. Has a nice flat punch surface when you're landing with your 2 front knuckles. Feels really good, protective, supportive, good feedback. Thumb position feels good as well. Doesn't feel overly bulky nor too slim and restrictive. So right there in the middle in terms of the protection and the performance of these gloves, and the wrist support being very supportive also helps out tremendously. Cost-wise, another great feature with this glove is going to be the cost, $95, which is great. I mean, considering everything that's been going on with the current market and kind of inflation, you're seeing a lot of other brands and gloves increase in price. For this to be a sub $100 glove at $95 is amazing. You're really starting to see gloves that we've loved in the past over the years start to kind of creep up in price. And the fact that they keep these at $95, if and when I do my $100 and below glove list, these will definitely be on it. Where on that list, I'm not sure, but it's going to be hard to beat at the price point of $95 because of full leather, great construction overall, very comfortable, versatile, different colors to choose from. You have 2 sizes, you have 2 types of closures. You can get it in Velcro or lace up. So there's definitely a good amount of variety when it comes to this glove, and at that price point makes this a winner in my opinion. So overall, definitely would recommend this glove. If you're looking for something under $100, this is going to be pretty high up on that list. So, you know, maybe click down below on the link to check it out on Triumph's website, and from there you can make the decision if these are the right glove for you. So if you guys have any questions or comments, you guys know what to do, put them down below. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find these Triumph United Death Adder 2.0 boxing gloves. See you guys later. Peace.